still continues to violate the public participation rules, third and final warning Michigan. If the individual continues to not adhere to directives after the third warning, I will ask law enforcement to remove you from the meeting. Okay, I hope we have that clear. Now I'd like to start with the first person, Roger McCullough. Right there, behind you. Oh, that is great. Welcome. Thank you.
No, we can't hear you.
No.
No, not very well.
The mic is on, and it's at full volume, so you just need to get a little closer to it. I think it was on.
Okay. That's off to a good start. My 3 minutes up now, I hope.
Yeah.
I have to share some personal information that's difficult for me.
He lost
I'm here to talk
30%.
about pornography in our school libraries. It's not on. Can everybody hear me okay?
Talk closer to the microphone, sir.
How's that?
That's okay. Better.
Too tall.
But shouldn't he get his time started again?
Yes.
Please, everyone.
Okay.
Okay.
I would just like everybody
The
to
rules
think
again.
that everybody's grown some type of fruits, vegetables, or whatever in their lifetime. Everybody, and I'm not looking at some show of hands, but I think that violates board policy now. But we wouldn't pick an apple or a tomato that's green and put it on the family's plate for dinner. I was a victim of abuse from my older sister. I was about 10 years old when she started abusing me. Well, you know what? I was a boy. It felt good, so I thought I wasn't wrong. But it created a lot of shame and condemnation between my ears. And it warped my development in puberty. Because all these things I was supposed to learn naturally, going back to my analogy with fruits and vegetables, you can't make something happen before it's due time. When it's, it's biological, correct, whatever. I was talking to a friend of mine before this meeting who was a prison guard. And he told me about the de-evolution of pornography into prisons. What happened is they had wide open pornography in the prisons in whatever year, and over a period of about 10 years they decreased it. And the reason they did, because they found the pornography in the prisons were causing too many rapes, men on men rapes, and the state was getting sued too much. You're giving these kids information in 2nd, 3rd, 4th grade. It's not appropriate. Y'all should be ashamed of yourselves. What? My sister, my older sister, 6 years older than I was, there's pornography in our house. Maybe that's the thing. My older brothers, whatever. I'm the youngest of 7. She ended up getting on drugs, and I ID'd her body when I was 27, so she was 33, with the Wayne County morgue with 7 holes in her. I delved into the drugs and alcohol to hide my shame in 7th grade. I've been told I'm incredibly bright and smart and have a relatively high IQ. I'm a high school dropout. I've made success in my life. I'm a hard worker, and I care. But you have to think what you're doing to these kids by introducing the subject matter before their time, before it's ready. They need to find out about this when they're teenagers. Did an experimental teenager stuff. Is that my time to shut up?
No, you got another minute.
45 seconds.
Okay.
Almost a minute.
All right. you have to think what you're doing to these kids. And I've heard some statistics, the trans people. People have changed their sexual identity. I'm told that the suicide rate among that population is much higher than a typical
Can you
age
speak
group.
just about the books, sir?
Pardon me?
Could you speak directly about the books?
That is
You're
about-
He can.
concerned about the
Oh my
books.
God, he can be.
Okay, that is about the books, because
Yeah.
you're screwing these young children's minds up about sexuality. They don't need to see in graphic detail some of the things that I've seen in those books. Between siblings, whatever. And I just was sitting in the parking lot waiting for this meeting to start. I just Googled just for the heck of it. Is incest illegal in Michigan? Yes, it is.
Okay, you could wrap it up with 3 minutes here.
Disrespectful.
I could go on for hours.
Thank
You know, all should be ashamed of yourself. Thank you.
Thank you for your comments. Next speaker is Melody Barron.
Thank you.
Watch your feet.
I'll shred it. Mr. Roberts shared a report about the book review process last meeting. He made a point to state only a few parents had filed requests. The policy procedure states only parents from the school their child attends can submit a review. So stakeholders such as myself cannot submit a form for review. You've stated that the district has 44,000 books. That's outstanding, and we're excited for that. The CVS webpage touts transparency. If transparency is true here at CVS, then might I suggest what the transparency would truly look like for everyone regarding this very issue. The district would send out the list of books in question to all parents in an email not buried in the CVS webpage. It would provide which books have been reviewed, which books are waiting to be reviewed, and the actual quoted verbiage from these books. It should also include which books were denied removal using the same format, which with the actual quoted verbiage. It is only then that parents could knowledgeably make a decision as to whether their children read those books, opt out for those books, or participate in the media centers. Because majority of parents do not have the luxury to spend the time needed to examine 44,000 books. Parents therefore need to have an awareness of what is in the books. What have you done to show the community why parents have continued to come before you for the past 2 years about the sexually explicit books? Most parents have no idea of the book material in these, adult material in these books. If they did have this information, you would have to ask yourself how many more parents, stakeholders would be at these meetings? How many more students will be leaving the district? It is evident you don't want that information to be out to be discovered. That is why you have buried it in the Chippewa webpage. You use philosophical mud and legal jargonese to redirect the community's understanding and discovery of the truth away from the issue of the adult graphic material, claiming that we are hate groups for banning books. Transparency will bring out the truth in these books. Show the community the issue at hand. Let them decide if these graphic books deserve a place in the children's libraries. I dare say, you know, if the actual language and words that appear in these books in question was quoted in the emails and in print for the parents to actually see and view, you would have parents in outrage to think those of you up there that they have so much trusted and believed in thought that these sexually explicit books were okay, and that you have given your approval for these children's books to be in the school. So transparency tells the whole truth, not just part of it. Thank you.
Thank you for your comments. Next speaker is Jerry Barron.
After 2 years of marriage, my wife and I were ready to put down the down payment on our first house. We were both teachers and knew the importance of a good education for our children. Anticipating a large family and understanding how important a school district would be in raising our children, we chose to live in this district and bought our first house walking distance from here. The academic excellence, career preparation, extracurricular activities, accreditation, facilities, and teacher satisfaction all pointed to this district. I commend this board that most of these mentioned are still the strength of this district. A number of years ago, I went in for my yearly physical checkup. I was in great shape. I coached various sports, played touch football, softball, basketball, and racquetball. My doctor took me in his office and complimented me on my good health, strong heart, clear lungs. However, your blood test came back suspicious. We want to conduct further tests. After those tests, it was confirmed cancer. I was stunned. How could a strong, healthy, athletic father of 5 children have cancer? Chippewa Valley District is one of the most prominent districts in the state. Students are recognized both in district and state levels. One school board member, however, as of recent, cannot grasp how community members at each board meeting can complain about the same basic issues in our schools when they see that each week there is some celebration of our school's accomplishments. The reason is that even what seems to be a functioning, healthy system, you have a cancer that's invading the body, woke ideology, and left untreated will continue to infect emotionally vulnerable students that need the right type of guidance and counseling. That support is not going to come from the activist health professionals whose treatment promote the mutilation of children under the euphemistic flag of gender-affirming care. After decades of following woke ideology and treatment, European countries now restrict transgender medical treatments for minors. England's health services have stopped prescribing puberty blockers for children 18 and younger. Why? Because it doesn't work. It's not the answer. Under this medical treatment, depression has increased, suicide rate excels even more, and the physical mutilation is irreversible. Mr. President and board members, these sexualized thematic books in our schools are the signs that our fine school district, under your watch, has been infected with a woke cancer, and if left untreated, will continue to have unlikely results for our students. We will continue to come to these meetings, not because of lack of academic or artistic accolades, not because of inadequate sports programs, not because we hate any class of students. We come to these meetings to protect our students from harm. Woke ideology and treatments harm students.
What he said.
Thank you for your comments. Next speaker, Rita Zielinski.
How much time do I have left over?
About 2 seconds. 2 seconds.
How many signers of the Constitution or Declaration of Independence can you name? My Chippewa 7th grader can name 2, which is the average, and it just so happens to be the 2 least religious, Jefferson and Franklin. John Adams, our Constitution was made for a moral and religious people. Morality and virtue are the foundation of our republic and necessary for a society to be free. That was 1798. Today the view is that we have a secular nation, yet historians will argue that secular is only possible because of our founding principles. America has had one constitution when every other nation has averaged a revolution or constitution